Howdy folks, it's Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician here, making another video for you out of Boise, Idaho area. This is a devastating update video on the Jeep 3.7 liter timing job. Just to kind of recap, this vehicle came in with a terrible timing chain knock. We ended up breaking it down and found issues with one of the tensioners, broken guide rails, also issues with this tensioner and this guide rail flopping around in there. And then what we did not expect was we found issues with the balance shaft. Okay, and ultimately, you know, at first sight you think, okay, you know, the balance shaft, the bearings went bad in it also. And so you can see where it's just kind of tore things up in there. And this area right here was ultimately where all the noise was coming from the chains and all that. So bottom line is we broke it down, decided to get new timing and all that. We also got new coils and plugs, and we were going to put it all back together. Then we had the issue with the balance shaft, so we got a new balance shaft. And so over the course of the past couple days, I've been preparing to get it all back together. And one of the things that I do before I put something back together that is this complex is I compare each individual internal timing part piece by piece. Now, do you remember kind of back in like the elementary days of school where they would give you two pictures and they would look exactly the same, but they'd tell you to find the differences? That is literally what this is and what I do. And so ultimately, one of the first things I noticed was the difference in this lip here, and you can probably see that with the camera, and this lip here. Oh yeah, you can definitely see that. Okay. So you can see that there's a difference in those, okay? And I thought, well, that can't be any good, so I flipped them over and I realized that on this gear, on this main gear here, there is a retainer ring, okay? And so this is put together, this is all machined together. This is basically a shaft right here, and these gears are machined on here, and that's why that dowel has been punched in there as well to keep it from turning. So this all turns as one. Okay, and so this is a retainer ring. All right, now then, I noticed that this is missing the retainer ring, and that's not normal. So I had to double check and make sure that, first of all, there's not just some like production change or upgrade. This one didn't come with that retainer ring. Nope. That is absolutely missing out of here. So the question is if it's missing, this installs like so. Here, I'll show you with the new one. Okay, so your balance shaft goes in there. This installs here. All right, and so there's your retainer ring. So the one thing I absolutely hate about these engines is the way they design them so everything has direct access down to the oil pan. I just can't stand that. If you need to pull the timing cover off, you're absolutely going to get coolant down in there, because bottom line is, you know, it's just how it's designed. So you always got to flush and clean out the oil pan and all that other stuff. So with the retainer ring missing and gone, the only place that this retainer ring had to go if it broke, which obviously it did because it's not in there, is down through the system, which is very possibly what could have broke tensioners and guide rails. Down through here, more than likely got chewed up and ended up down in our oil pan. So I had to stop for a day and go ahead and take the camera. And I'll just let you know right now, this camera scope, I bought this camera scope for $50, and it has just been one of the best diagnostic tools I've actually had. So just to kind of show you here. So yeah, so we take the camera down in there, and sure enough, we found the retainer ring, or basically what's left of it. It has just been completely chewed up into little tiny pieces. There's absolutely metal down inside of that oil pan, for which we have retrieved some of it. And so this is what has come out of the oil pan so far. All right, that is all ground down metal shavings. All right, and you can see there's chunks. Okay, let's look at the end of the magnet. See if we can get a focus here. Okay, and you can see chunks. Now, you may not think that's a big chunk if you're kind of new to this world, especially when it comes to engines and all that other stuff. But bottom line is, this is terrible. This is devastating. This puts this job at a complete stop, and we absolutely need to rethink what we're doing here. I don't think it's going to pay at all at this point to actually replace the timing, because if there's that much metal down in the oil pan and it's all chewed and ground up like that, then I guarantee you that metal is all through the system. So again, I'm not so sure it's going to be worth it to do all this work. It may be worth it just to go ahead and find another used engine, service the timing on that one to ensure whatever it is that happens doesn't happen again. For example, that retainer ring coming off of there, and then go from there. So, but yeah, you know, guys, this is an example. I mean, it happens in shop. We can't always predict and figure everything out all at once. Sometimes things need to be completely taken apart and gone through with a fine-tooth comb in order to figure it out. And the best thing you can do is just kind of count your blessings and say, well, I'm kind of glad we did figure it out now, instead of waste the time and money to put it all back together and then it ends up being a complete bust. So what will the shop do next? I'm going to stop and communicate with the owner and just kind of see what they want to do, and then we'll just go from there. Ethics play a big part in something like this, and you know, as long as you're a good customer and stuff like that, stuff like this doesn't need to be too much of a nightmare. It's just a matter of putting your heads together and getting it all figured out, and you know, making sure that everybody benefits from it. So all right, guys. Well, hey, everybody on YouTube, I really appreciate you watching and supporting my channel. We got a pretty awesome community here. There's a bunch of other mechanics as well that are watching the channel. If you need any help or anything on your do-it-yourself project, shoot your questions in the comment section. If I'm not able to get to them, something that I think is really cool is I've noticed other people are able to get to them. And so I think it's just awesome that we have a platform here where people can just share information and help each other out and all that other good stuff. So, alrighty, folks. Well, this is Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician, signing off.